T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff. Welcome to Sport Weasel Protest Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
NASCAR bans Confederate flags in this edition of Sports and Other Stuff. Plus, Florida says collegiate athletes can make bank. Carolina Panthers say no mas, and this is all letters. NFL QB A-OK. This is Sports and Other Stuff. So, the only full-time African-American driver in NASCAR's Cup Series, Bubba Wallace, called for the auto racing body to ban Confederate flags from its events. 2 days later, it happened. Let's get the discussion started.
Well, it was a propitious time to do it. You don't have fans there anyway. And it was always fans. But as far as that goes, it's a symbol that needed to go away. It has nothing positive with it. So I'm not surprised, and I think it's necessary. It was time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Obviously, with going on right now, it's the right time. I mean, you can't still be bullheaded about it now with all the social changes going on right now. So it was the right move. Supposedly, I guess they had talked about it. I watched Marty Smith talk about it. I guess there was talk about removing it back in like 2015. But it's unfortunate. It took the events that transpired in like the last month or so for it to happen. But it got done. And I know some people could say if they want to be cynical, they could say it's a business decision. But even if you want to be cynical about it, it's like in order for the business of NASCAR to grow and get out of it, they have to be more inclusive. Like either you can live in your niche or you can try to expand your business, and you should always look to expand your business.
Yeah, completely. I mean, find the new audience, get the next generation. Let's go. You got to advance the product.
Yeah.
Make it for everybody.
Yeah. But it was like eye-opening watching like that. If you watch that NASCAR thing, like Bubba Wallace is wearing the Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And then they have a moment of silence, and then I forget what there was then like someone actually takes a knee during the national anthem, and it's just like, again, it's nice that it's happening, but it's also on some level it's humorous that NASCAR is now socially more progressive than the NFL. So I find that.
But that's going to change.
Yeah, but I don't. But I just find it funny. The other thing that I found funny, and again, it's still good that it happened. The other part that I find funny is if you find the NASCAR Twitter video where they demand the change to get rid of the Confederate flag, it's a complete lift of the NFL. Well, one we talked about last week. It's pretty much the exact same thing. The only difference is it's all white guys, and then they have to cycle in Bubba Wallace because Bubba Wallace is. But I don't know. I found it amusing. So.
Well, they have one black man every generation. They had Wendell Scott there in the Richard Petty era, and now they've got Bubba Wallace in this era.
Yeah.
It's funny. Who knows?
Maybe it'll change. We'll see. Okay, moving on. A new Florida law will allow college athletes in the state to make money from endorsements starting next summer. The governor signed the bill. It increases urgency to the nationwide movement, there's the key, toward creating more opportunities for athletes. What do you make of this?
Well, for me personally, it's about time, don't you think? I mean, those guys not only add to the bottom line, they represent the universities and colleges. They should be able to, if the university and college can make money off of their likeness and their jerseys, they should get a piece of that. Because, I mean, let's be honest, out of each crop of college and university athletes each year, not that many make it to the pros, and very few get that big contract. So you got to allow people to make money when they can.
Yeah, so who had the hottest selling jersey, for instance, in college football? Anybody know? Last year? Somebody in Clemson, I'm guessing? I don't know.
It was Joe Burrow.
Right, Burrow.
It was probably Joe, because even in the state of Ohio, I mean, before he was linked to the Bengals, when he gave his speech in Athens, and probably even before that, like he was getting a lot of love. So you're probably right.
Yeah, the fan club is now in order, so take it away. Take it away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea, don't you? Don't you think it's a good idea?
No, it's a good idea. And again, it puts pressure on the NCAA because they are supposedly going to talk about it in October and vote on it in January. Well, the Florida's law, if it goes through, it'll start next summer.
Right.
So regardless of the NCAA decides to, because they said we're going to talk about it, but they were also use the definition, or I guess the loose wording of they're going to put guardrails on it, which again, there's already 2 states that have already passed the law, California and Colorado. I don't know if there's any other ones, but this will be at least the third state to pass a law similar where you could profit from your name, your image, or your likeness. I just like it because we might get some, because I mean, interviews with college players are usually fairly boring anyway. You're going to actually get them sneaking in advertisements where the reporter will be why did this game seem personal? What happened? It's like they were trying to damage our reputation, and our reputation is one you can ride on. Big old tires.
Yeah.
Smucker's jelly, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good idea right there.
Yeah, or when they score a touchdown and they come back from break and they're drinking Gatorade on the sidelines and they get close up and they used to say, "Hi, Mom."
Yeah.
They're like, "I'm taking a break. Breaking off a piece of that Kit Kat bar." What?
Okay, and what about the turnover chain? What does that become? That'll become a product in itself, won't it? Some jewelry store, maybe? I don't know.
Well, don't you think that they will go a la NASCAR and sponsorships on jerseys and helmets and,
Getting close, isn't it?
I mean, I like J-Boy's idea because for Louisville, it'd be like if they have a chain, it'll be from Little John. It'll be like Little John Pawn Shop.
South 4th Street near Churchill Downs.
Come on down.
Okay, yeah.
I was just gonna say real quick. The other two things though, just because the wording, I guess, in the law, it says it must commiserate with the market value, and the other part that's more like, all right, what exactly does it mean? It must maintain a clear separation between amateur and intercollegiate athletics and professional sports. I mean, what does that second part? I know what commiserate with market value is, but what does that other part? What does that even really mean?
Yeah, it's hard to decipher.
See, that's what you get on this program, Sports and Other Stuff. Breakdown of a Florida state law right here on this podcast.
Well,
that's exclusive, isn't it? I think.
I was just thinking, if you're going to write that sort of, a lawyer obviously wrote that because it's so wide open to interpretation. So if you accept the payment, then are you professional? It depends on how you define professional.
Think they'll put a cap on it, maybe?
Well, I think we would agree, particularly if certain states open it up. Like, obviously, if Oregon opens it up, I mean, we're going to have people going there because Nike.
Good point. Right.
And then, like a place even like Maryland, the guy who started Under Armour is from the University of Maryland. They might get a deal exclusively with Under Armour. So all of a sudden, that'll help recruiting of those.
And Adidas is a German company, so I don't know when the Louisville Cardinals will play in Germany, but that might work out too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to this next riveting topic? We're doing great today.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers took down the controversial statue of former team owner Jerry Richardson for public safety reasons. He sold the club to David Tepper in 2018 following an NFL investigation that found Richardson guilty of multiple instances of workplace misconduct. What about that?
Well, I mean, again, that one hits in all kinds of different ways. You know, that's part of the Me Too movement. That could play into protests, really, just because he's old Southerner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he's 84 now.
Yeah, I mean, but it was funny video to watch, you know, him flopping on the ground there. But they didn't take down the Panthers, so that's a good thing. But, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised that his lawyers missed a loophole, because he seemed like the kind of guy that would want his statue to remain ad infinitum. But his lawyers, somebody missed the loophole that the new owner was able to use to tear it down.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, when David Tepper bought it, yeah, one of the caveats was he had to maintain the Jerry Richardson statue that was erected in 2016.
For real?
And my favorite thing
that was in the paperwork?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But and my favorite thing is supposedly the minority owners bought it for Jerry Richardson. And I'm not saying he didn't have any direct, maybe he didn't, but I'll just say at his alma mater, Wofford, there's also a statue of him. So clearly the man has to think about having statues of himself. But the one caveat was if there was any reason for public safety reasons, they could remove it. And even though there had been no talks, there had been protests and, breaking of public, building and property.
At Bank of America Stadium, right? No.
Yeah, even though there was no talk of that stadium, I just love that David Tepper, who clearly didn't want this statue in the first place, is like, yeah, we're worried about the stadium, so we're just going to remove it. And they came out, I think a few days ago, and said they're not bringing it back. It's gone permanently.
Yeah.
So it was. I just love that. I mean, these serious social changes are happening, but this is clearly an instance of someone who had another agenda who's just like, awesome, I can get rid of this thing. So,
yeah. So Lugs, would you like a statue of your likeness somewhere?
Sure. I'm thinking at a brunch at a Greasy Spoon somewhere. Maybe the Twig and Leaf.
Outside of Denny's on 3rd Street.
Right. Just call him the boy, not the big boy. I don't know.
Hey, lady.
I got a follow-up for Lugs. So if you saw the statue, it was absurd in the first place. Like, it was Jerry Richardson holding out a football,
Yeah.
and he was sandwiched between two Panthers.
Yeah.
And it looked like the football, it was like the Jaguar's eye from Jumanji. He could control them. They were like attack Panthers. What would your statue, would it have any other like accoutrements around you?
A fork and maybe a biscuit, I don't know.
Fork and a biscuit coming right up.
Is that the number 3 special?
Yeah.
The blue plate?
That's about as far as it can go right there.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so NFL quarterbacks we think will be okay. What? Take it away. I don't know what that even means.
Going into this season, I don't think a lot of people, because he played so poorly last year, but, sometimes you just need to change your scenery. I think Phillip Rivers is due for a good year. They got a good offensive line with Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Brandon Smith. Wide receiver-wise, you got T.Y. Hilton, rookie Pittman Jr., and you got Paris Campbell, who was a rookie last year, who didn't really get to play. He was injured. And then you got a backfield of Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, and Nyheim Hines. You look at the division, it's going to be fairly mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And